Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Play is the Thing with your host, Judy Sleed. Today's guest, Debra Schoenau, don't you know? The owner of Relax Boutique of Sag Harbor, designer and manufacturer, Polka Dot USA. Now here to talk lingerie with my mom, oh boy, Judy Sleed and Debra Schoenau.
That was a wonderful introduction, right, Deborah?
Thank you.
Yes, and I'm so glad you could make it. You are just very talented. You own a store, you're a designer, a manufacturer. What else? What do you do in your spare time?
Most importantly, I'm a mother of 3 children.
Wow.
And a sibling. I have 3 siblings, and my parents are still alive, and so I'm a daughter. Very good daughter, hopefully, to my parents. But I take care of my 3 children, although 2 of them are a little grown, 25 and 27, and then I have a 17-year-old that's still in the house. So I still make her lunch like I did this morning before I got here, and spend a lot of time with her as she applies to college right now.
Well, you're hardly old enough to have all those children, especially so old.
Look under these glasses.
You look beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I find you in your store in Sag Harbor.
Yes.
And it's a lovely store. It's tiny, but it's lovely, and you have a lot of nice things, lingerie, right?
It's mostly lingerie. It was previously owned by a woman who had it as a lingerie store for 3 years. And she carried my line, Polka Dot USA, for the last 3 years and did very well with it. And I think when she was no longer interested in staying in retail, I decided to take it over in May. And although it was only supposed to be for a few months, I was going to complete her lease, I decided I loved it. And I have kept it now for another year and hopefully keep it forever.
Oh, that's very exciting that a young lady like you is so business-minded.
Well, I'll tell you, she kept it as a lingerie store, and I designed Polka Dot, which is a line of loungewear, sleepwear, layering wear, everyday wear. In fact, I'm wearing one of the pieces. And it's not just about lingerie, so I decided to change the name, and it's now Relax Sag Harbor. And Relax is supposed to sort of connote, epitomize anything that has to do with relaxing and being cozy and comfy.
Oh, I love being cozy and comfy.
So it's not just lingerie.
Yeah.
I mean, I kept a lot of the lingerie because there are many customers that walk in and would like that bra or that panty, and so I still have that. But I expanded it in the sense that I have other things besides lingerie. So anything that's sort of cozy, like a candle or a little blanket or robes or things that are not necessarily, I have some yoga wear in there. So I have other things besides lingerie. I had in the summertime, we had bathing suits, which we did fabulous with. We were experimenting, and we bought a line in from Spain, which was just beautiful. It was designed by a lingerie designer.
And you went to Spain yourself?
I didn't. I did everything, believe it or not, online. I saw everything online. I dealt with the people on the phone, and I bought it all online. And it was beautiful, and it did beautifully. And we even experimented with some men's bathing suits and little boys' bathing suits, matching father-son. Brought it in for Father's Day, did great with it, and I will continue again this summer to carry swimwear.
Well, that's great. That's great. So where are you from?
I'm from New York. I lived in Long Island.
You were born in New York?
In New York City.
New York City, a city girl.
Yes, and my parents raised us in Hewlett, Long Island.
Yeah, that's in Nassau County.
Right. And I lived there until, excuse me, I have a little bit of a cold, I'm sorry. I lived there until I got married.
And you went to school there.
I went to high school there, and then I went to Boston University, got a degree in psychology. And
Psychology?
yes.
How did you get into the retail business?
I know. My family, my mother's family, was all in the garment industry. And I always had that in the back of my mind. I would always go to visit my uncles. My uncles took it over, and my cousins. I would visit their factory in Brooklyn, and oh my God, I would just see this huge factory and think, oh my God, look at all these clothes. They were a huge manufacturer, and my uncle would say, well, you can pick out 2 pieces. And I was so excited to get these 2 pieces. And anyway, so the garment industry was always part of my life. My grandfather on my father's side was a dress manufacturer, so we had a lot of garment industry.
So it's in your blood, actually.
Although my father was in real estate. He was a land developer in New Mexico. But anyway, so I always had it in my blood. I went to college, studied psychology, graduated, and went to Parsons School of Design, and worked in the family business for a while, and worked for the designer who encouraged me to go into retail. He said, why don't you try one of those retail programs, the executive training programs? So I went to Bonwit Teller. Remember Bonwit Teller?
Oh, yes, yes.
I know, it was a beautiful store. And I worked my way up. I would do the training program. I was an assistant buyer, a department manager in the New York store when they reopened the New York store where Tiffany's is. And then after that, I went into manufacturing. I worked for a manufacturer, a junior sportswear company called Palmetto's, and worked there for many years, and then had my second child and decided to give it a break. So it wasn't until about 12 years ago that I had a friend who we decided to start a business together. And we opened up Polka Dot USA. She had owned a lingerie store in New York City, and we thought that there was a little niche in the market that was missing, which was teenage lingerie. We only knew of Victoria's Secret, and we did not want to be Victoria's Secret for the teenage girls. We wanted something a little bit more conservative. So we started with the teenage lingerie business.
You designed?
Yes.
You designed the garments?
Yes, and we made everything domestically, and we were selling almost every single department store in the United States.
How does that happen when you design something? You're making a sketch and then you have to give it to a manufacturer, or can you give a brief description?
Well, actually, I'll refer to one of the times that monogramming was a very big thing about 10 years ago. And I decided to take the monogramming idea and make it into lingerie. And so I sketched out little camisoles, cute little trims, little gingham bows, and little monograms, and did a matching boy short. And I mean, it didn't take a genius to really design something like that, but it was an idea of monogrammings and how I could take monogramming and putting it into lingerie. And then we did little pants and little nightgowns, and we did a whole concept around monogramming. And it did so well, we sold across every department store. And in fact, even some of the other stores, the less expensive stores, decided to take that idea. And so I designed it for them at a lesser price. And we had it scheduled to come into the stores every month, something different. So we went from a monogramming, then we did horoscopes the next month. Then we did after that boys' names, and we just kept taking different ideas and scheduling a different delivery of different concepts. But
amazing.
So yeah, I mean, so we do different, we do different ideas, and I do a lot of sketching, but a lot of it is working with the manufacturer and saying, this is an idea that I have, and just sketching it out and having it made into a pattern, into a sample, and then having it produced.
And you find that all these lingerie items, do people like all the trimmings and buttons and things on it?
Well, everybody likes something different. I mean, it's very hard to please everybody.
Yes.
And now I notice with my new line, which is not so new anymore, it's about 10 years old, the Polka Dot USA line. Actually, the name was Polka Dot USA because we were made in the United States, and now, as it turns out, probably 90% of the line is made in England and very little in the United States. I came across this company that is a knitting mill, and they make it in England in a heritage factory that's 70-year-old knitting mills, and so they don't really make products like these products that you'll see here.
I would like to see one of those
Yeah,
things.
I'll show you, for instance. It's the craftsmanship that they just don't do anymore. And so I so fell in love with this product that I decided, they showed me a little baby's one-piece item, and they said, would you be interested in doing anything with our product? I said, I don't really do babies' clothes, but this is so beautiful that I would like to see if I could make some women's clothing out of it. And so from that little baby item, I developed a whole line of women's lingerie and loungewear. And so if you see, for instance, this is one of the camisoles.
Oh,
And it's the fabric, it's not so much what it looks like, it is partly, but it's what it feels like. It's got, I don't know if you can see it, but it's got the beautiful Clooney lace trim. It's got the detailing of the pointelle.
yes.
And it's machine washable. It gets softer and softer the more you wear it and wash it. And they all have lots of little cute details, little rosebuds or little bows, and everything comes with some kind of trim, some kind of matching piece. So for instance, I don't need to open them all, but this is one of the pants. You know, it's like a loungewear pant.
Oh, that's nice.
That has the beautiful lace trim on the bottom.
And that's also very...
Very cozy. It's like wearing a
and it's-
beautiful feminine sweatpant, but beautiful and cozy and comfy. Keeps you warm, but yet it breathes. And so I did a collection of lots of different pieces. This is actually the same piece that I'm wearing. And you can wear them out as well as wearing them as a layer piece underneath things, or wear them to sleep in. So these come with a matching pant. And there's shorts, and there's camisoles, and there's cardigan. This is a little tennis group.
Oh, nice.
It has all the nice little detail. I'll show you a little cardigan. So I come up with cute little ideas, and the factory in England does all these different knits. So you see that this has got a little cable design to it.
Oh, this is very smart
And so it
looking.
doesn't just have to be worn with the matching pant or the matching nightgown. It can be worn with white jeans, and it can be worn, you know,
Oh, that's
out.
like
So
a
this
shirt under.
this is a little nightgown, actually. It goes above the knee. So, you know, lots of really nice pieces. So as you can see, I love this product. And
Yes, I could see it.
and I love making, and every year I do 3 collections, and I do very well with it. Yesterday I did a show for a charity event. It was the National Eating Disorder, and they asked me at Old Oaks Country Club in Purchase, New York, to do host a little show, and I did.
So you say you live in New York most of the time, and you only come out here to the Hamptons on the weekends.
Well, I live in Westchester.
In Westchester.
And the summer I spent all summer out here. I rented a place for the summer, which was great. And unfortunately, that place was up in September 30th. So now I'm staying, and I come long weekends. I'm looking for a home right this minute, and to hopefully move us all out here permanently.
Oh, really? You're going
Yes.
to leave New York?
I'm going to leave Westchester.
Oh,
and,
Westchester,
yes,
yeah.
and hopefully live out here full time. So right now I come Friday mornings, and I spend Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And I have a nice young girl who's a local girl who helps me in the shop the days that I'm not here. And we are closed now Tuesdays, Wednesdays, but in the summer months and the busy months we'll be open 7 days.
So
And
when you are in Westchester, you don't have a store there, do you?
I don't have a store. I have a busy website, and I do a lot of shows. And I'm a mom. That's what I do the rest of the week. And I come out here when it's busy. And I have to tell you, I have loved the store. It just turned out to be something I never expected. I love Sag Harbor. If you said to me, would you like to open up in any other town, I would have no interest. If you said there's another space available in another town, no interest. I love Sag Harbor. I love my...
I could tell that, that's a really very nice, it's not even considered one of the Hamptons. It's just Sag Harbor, but it's a quaint little town.
And the nicest thing I've found about Sag Harbor are the people, the community. I love my neighbors. I know all the people that live in the houses right next to me. They all stop by. I don't care if they shop. I don't care if they come by to say hello. I had a little boy the other day that lives down the street that got lost. His parents weren't home, and
Oh, my God.
and he couldn't find them, and he walked into my store crying, and I said, don't worry, we'll find your parents. And I just, it's a nice safe haven for people to come in, say hi, and visit and talk, and I've met the nicest people, really, really nice people. I met a woman the other day. I think I talked to her for an hour. I was crying. My daughter was inside visiting that day also. She was crying. Her stories were so touching, and it was just so nice, so nice. So I've really enjoyed talking.
That's
and
how I
meeting
met
people.
you. I met this gentleman named Rocco. And he says, come, you have to meet Debra. You have to meet Debra.
Rocco is my landlord, and I love
Yeah.
him. He's my
Yeah.
landlord in the shop, and he was my landlord in the apartment that I rented. And he's quite an eccentric guy, and an artist, and he's got a lot of talent. In fact, he painted some bamboo pieces that I have in my shop right now. I don't know if you saw them
Yes,
when you were
yes.
there. He showed me some pieces that he had painted for somebody else, and I said, I love these pieces. But they're a little bit masculine color-wise, and I said, can you paint them for a feminine lingerie shop? So he took this bamboo that he grows outside his home, and he painted them in beautiful, beautiful colors, and I will put them in the window in a few weeks. If they don't all crack. It's been so warm in the shop that they're starting to crack a little bit, but they're beautiful. Pieces of art.
So do your children take after you?
Not at all. Not at all.
No?
Not at all. I don't actually even have children that are interested in fashion.
Isn't that amazing? You are so into it. You're really passionate about it.
No, I don't know. My youngest, the 17-year-old, puts herself together beautifully. She's very talented naturally, but has no interest. She's a musician, and she performs, and she's on YouTube and the whole thing.
Really?
But she's not really interested in fashion. My other one is in banking. Banking, and struggles to put herself together, but she's beautiful. But anything she puts on, she's beautiful, but doesn't really, takes everything from my line. So I have to say, my mother, who's 89, wears my collection to my 17-year-old daughter, who every one of her friends come over and beg for birthday parties. If, please, that's all I want is polka dots. So it's really nice. So my daughters wear all of my things, and my mother wears it, which is...
Where does your mother live?
She still lives in the home that I grew up in Hewlett. Hewlett Harbor, yeah.
Wow,
And my mom and dad both still live there.
that's amazing.
And I have a son who's very not into fashion, but I did a men's line for a short time, and I still might go back into it. And if I tell you, the other day he was wearing one of the crew neck, black long sleeve crew neck. It's like a long underwear piece. His name is Harrison. I said, Harry, this is the third day you're wearing that shirt. Take the shirt off. He said, Mom, it's so cozy. I can't take it off.
Yeah.
So,
And what does he do? What is he interested
oh, Harry's an unusual character. He is a professional poker player. And he's a professional, he coaches poker players. So,
in? And where does he, quote unquote, work?
well, right now he actually is living with us. He was living in London, he was living in LA.
How about Las Vegas?
No, he does online poker. He doesn't
Online.
play very much in person. But he also is a coach for a nutrition coach. And he's incredibly, he only eats organic, he only eats raw, he's super healthy. And he has coached many of friends who struggle with depression and with lots of issues, health issues. He's taken a lot of people off medication and put them on supplements, and he's a genius.
He's a genius.
He's a genius. He should have done this in his career, but he chose poker. So no, nobody's in fashion in my family.
Isn't that something? They're not taking after you.
No,
at
but
all.
they are big fans of mine, and they love to hear how well the store does. My dad calls me every single day. He wants to know, how is the traffic today? How is business? How are your numbers? I say, and sometimes I get upset because, you know, in the Hamptons, sometimes in the winter months, it's very quiet.
Yes, very.
And
Most of the stores close.
I know, and I really don't want to close, but we'll see. But I say, Dad, if I have good news to tell you, I promise you I will call you. But
Yeah.
I get a little upset sometimes when it's very quiet and I don't have that much business, but that's okay.
Well, you have to take the good with the bad. I'm sure you know what you're doing. I mean, you sound like you know
I
what
hope
you're
so.
doing. Yes.
I mean, I just stumbled into this. I really wasn't expecting to be a retailer, but it turned out to be a great thing.
So are you still, what are you doing with your studies that you studied as a psychology major?
I'm doing nothing.
Nothing,
Nothing.
but it
I don't have
helps you
time.
to,
It helps me to deal with people.
yeah, helps you to deal with people, yes.
And I truly enjoy that. That's probably the nicest part of this job right now are the people that I deal with.
Well, you know, I love comfortable things. And lately, in the last few years, I have, my skin became very sensitive. So I'm looking to buy things like underwear and nightgown that has no trimming or button, anything. And it's very difficult to find.
Well, I tried to please everyone, and I can't please everybody, but I do carry lots of different lines, and hopefully you'll come see all the different lines. Some very simple, some that cater to, you know, younger, older, all different ages. And I don't just have, as I said, the lingerie. There's a local woman that makes the most adorable shower caps from Italy. I carry her shower caps. There's a great line of slippers that I carry that are very feminine, and then I have a very sort of outdoorsy line of slippers. So I carry lots of different things. So if you needed, you know, hostess gift, I don't mean to detract from what you actually asked me, but I do have lots of, you know, cozy things. I have a skincare product from a Chinese herbalist
Oh my God,
doctor.
in that little store you have all that.
I have a little of everything, so, and I try to change it. It's not always going to stay the same. I had some beautiful artwork this summer from some local people that I tried to promote. So, I mean, the shop is always going to change. It will always have a line of, a few lines of bras, a few lines of underwear, and some pajamas. And polka dot is probably 40-50% of the store, because that's my company. But I have to carry some other fun things, and I'm always out there looking for new lines. And I think that it will never look the same, which is what will be good about it. It will change, and I will still have, the basics and the classics all the time.
It's amazing. I was in your store, and it's a small space, so you probably have to keep your stock someplace else.
Well, we have a little stock room in the back, and then back in Westchester, we carry a lot back there too.
So you probably take orders also.
We do take some, and we special order for customers that might need special ordering. We try to accommodate everyone.
Well, you certainly seem that way. You're doing a lot of good. You're making a lot of people happy with all the things you have.
Well, I hope. For the holidays, we try to be a little festive. We just did we finished our Hanukkah and Thanksgiving window, but we had a very cute Hanukkah window. And now we're into our Christmas window, and I actually used to make doll houses in my old days, and maybe about 15 years ago. And the doll houses are right now in the Christmas window, and they're Christmas doll houses.
And what happens if somebody will order one? You have to make.
I don't think I could sell. Years ago, I actually did sell them, and there's so much work.
I could imagine. Well, I want to thank you for coming and talking with me, and I have to say that I had my hair done by Lupita, and I want to thank all the underwriters without whom I cannot do this show. And Debra, I love your products, and I like you as a person. You have a wonderful attitude.
Thank you.
And
thank you for having me. This is very nice.
Yes, and would you believe it? The half hour is up.
Unbelievable. I thought I had so many more stories to share.
Yeah.
You'll have to come visit me.
Yes, and you have to come back to another show.
I'd love to.
Tell all about the doll houses and whatever. You probably have a lot of other talents that you kept a secret.
A few, not too many more. Thank you.
Well, it is just wonderful.
Love me, love